That's what they do that at the beginning of Notre Dame games. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Young Guns Show. Tonight, we're here to talk some more college basketball picks. Whether you think this is annoying or not, or overrated, this is what we're here to do tonight. And let's sit back, enjoy, and hopefully we'll knock your socks off with something.
Mm-hmm.
Joined with me tonight, I got the awesome Jeffrey from Only Talk Sports. Will Indy, the biggest homer, as everybody already knows.
Go Irish, ladies and gentlemen.
Jackson Johnson.
How's it going, everyone?
We're going to talk some basketball. Again, whether or not you find it stupid, that's up to you. All right, how we doing, gentlemen?
Doing pretty good. How are you doing, Buckeye Mike?
Pretty good.
Can't wait to talk some college hoops, man.
Here we go.
Let's rock it, baby.
Let's go.
This was an upset.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this was a game where Edward was right. I mean, we just didn't really take into account, the health of Virginia Tech. We just assumed they had still all their injuries, but they're getting healthy now. Their players are returning. That home atmosphere was incredible for the Hokies.
Mm-hmm.
Duke, they've been playing better as of late. They've been getting healthy as well. But at the end of the day, the home crowd and Virginia Tech being healthy again, they could be a dark horse, just like last year, to win some games down the stretch and possibly make the tournament still, even though they have a poor record right now because they did that last year and able to turn their season around. So it was a really big win for Virginia Tech. If I'd have known that they were healthier, I probably would have considered picking them more, but still thought Duke would get the job done, but good win for Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was definitely their reaction was like, we're back to having fun playing basketball again. Losing wasn't fun. And the place was going crazy. And, yeah, it was just fun to watch. I'm happy for my sister who goes to Tech because it was pretty miserable. With the football and basketball, it was pretty miserable. But now they have something to cheer about, at least down in Blacksburg.
I'm really curious to see if Duke is going to go to the NIT at this point. I mean, I know it's way too early right now, but Duke may be looking like an NIT team this year. I mean, funny, they go from the Final Four last year to going to the NIT. Wow.
You're welcome, Edward.
Well, I mean, they did lose Coach K, for one. So they are stuck in a transitional adjustment period like Alabama will within the next 5 to 10 years, where you're losing your all-time amazing coach. And You've got to learn how to use the talent to get the same production with the coach not being there. As far as Duke being an NIT team, that's way too early to tell because all Duke has to do is win the ACC tournament and they're in.
Right.
I'll tell you.
If you look at bracketology right now, well, yeah, Notre Dame's not going to be there. Yeah. If you look at bracketology, though, Duke's still like a 6 or 7 seed. I mean, they're nowhere near the bubble right now. And I mean, you would assume that the ACC is weak as the bottom is, as long as Duke doesn't slip up against any of the bottom half teams. And I know people will be saying that Virginia Tech's a bottom half team, but yet again, when they were healthy, they were still a solid team. Plus, this was a road loss. It's not going to look as bad on the resume. And I really think Virginia Tech's going to start coming around as long as they stay healthy. So as long as Duke doesn't lose to Georgia Tech or, sorry, Will, but Notre Dame or Florida State or Louisville, sorry, Austin, no, you're not here. But at the end of the day, as long as Duke beats those teams, they're going to rack up enough wins that they're going to make the tournament.
Yeah. I'll laugh my tail off if Notre Dame somehow beats Duke, but it won't happen.
I was going to say, I hope you're not that much of a homer because Notre Dame's not beating Duke. There's no way.
You never know, man. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But yeah, I mean, this game went down to the wire. It was crazy, obviously. Energy was electric. And yeah, good job to the Hokies. Screw you, because now if I pick you next time, you're not going to win. So screw you ahead of time. But yeah, good job.
This was surprising, just how it went down.
Man, I got some questions about the defending national champion Kansas Jayhawks.
Well, the issue for Kansas right now is that nobody else besides Jalen Wilson is putting up points. Grady Dick at the beginning of the season was lights out. Couldn't miss. I mean, he was shooting the basketball at an elite level. But he's cold right now. He's not, hitting threes at the rate he was earlier in the year. And overall, Kansas is just going through a rough stretch. They're just playing sloppier basketball. They're not knocking shots down. They're not defending as well as they were earlier in the season. I think they'll be fine. I mean, the talent's there. Bill Self's just going to have to find a way to get his team back on track. I mean, Baylor, people forget Baylor is still a really solid team. They had a rough stretch themselves where they lost 4 or 5 in a row. Got knocked out of the top 25 for brief, but they're back. And that atmosphere was insane. You want to talk about Virginia Tech's atmosphere. Baylor's atmosphere was loud. And it made it really tough on the Hawks. Baylor played a fantastic game, and they're playing a lot better basketball last couple of weeks. So I'm not exactly surprised this happened because of the fact Kansas, even though they're the more talented team, and, on paper you would say they'd win, it was at Baylor, and Kansas – every single year they kind of go through a bit of a rough stretch. Usually it's not a 3-game rough stretch, but usually you see them lose 3 or 5 somewhere in the Big 12. The Big 12's tough this year. So I think they'll be fine, but it was a really good win for Baylor.
Yeah, I'm just I don't know, man. Kansas, they got to step up again. Jalen Wilson, he's no Trace Jackson Davis. He's good, but he's not that good. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like if they lose a couple more games, they got another big game coming up this weekend that we'll talk about soon. But you don't want to fall down to a 5 seed. You want to at least be a top 3 seed going into the tournament.
So this is the 4th time under the tenure of Bill Self that a 3-game losing streak has happened. 2005 was the first time it happened. 2013 was the second time it happened. The third time was in 2021. Now this is the 4th time, but they have never been in a 4-game losing streak under Bill Self. But let's just say if they lose this next game that we're going to mention that they play on Saturday, they're going to be in real big trouble.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not surprised by this. I'm not surprised by Kansas's play. I guess we all forget the golden rule that it's hard to repeat. Plus I'm sure they lost a lot of talent. Baylor is looking incredible. They did just win the title 2 years ago. And yeah, great win by Baylor. And I do believe I picked Baylor to win this game, so I do believe I saw this coming.
I think I picked Baylor too. I can't remember though.
Well, you picked Baylor, but Buckeye Mike, you went with Kansas.
I picked Baylor.
Yep, you and Will picked Baylor.
All right.
Yeah, man, the bare necessities, man. Maybe we've got to start picking them again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. I had a feeling that would happen, though. Will, why did you put that caption in there?
Well, are you starting to get to that point, Buckeye Mike? I'm just wondering. It was a question for you.
No.
No?
No, he just hasn't found the team to make a deep enough run. I saw this coming too. I was hoping that I would start to get the trend of his results picking against my team and they win. But of course, Ohio State does not have a good enough basketball team to produce the wins. You don't have a Keita Bates-Diop who looked average against the Lakers last night. You don't have, E.J. Liddell anymore. You don't have an Aaron Kraft type of player. That's the kind of player you need. You need an Aaron Kraft. You need a Greg Oden, a Mike Conley Jr. You need to have the two pieces that they do not currently have. And that's why this program sucks. That's the cleanest way I can put it.
I don't disagree with you, Buck, I might, but I will say that Ohio State has some pretty good players this year. I mean, Bryce Sensabaugh is playing fantastic. He's probably going to be a first-round draft pick, just like Malachi Branham was last year. You're right that they don't have an E.J. Liddell, but Ohio State should be doing a bit better than what they're currently playing right now. I mean, Zed Key, the issue for me with Ohio State's basketball team is the Big Ten in general. You have to have a great center, and that hurts them in the tournament because guards are what wins in March Madness, but in the Big Ten, it's centers. And Ohio State does not have a center at all. Zed Key is not capable of going up against Zach Edey, Hunter Dickinson, Trace Jackson Davis. It's just not going to happen. And then Felix Okpara, the freshman recruit that they got, he's not there yet. So you have no post presence in a conference that relies on that, which is why your conference record's 3-6. And funny enough, you beat Iowa, who's one of the teams in the Big Ten that does not really rely on centers, even though Philip Rebracha has been playing better basketball as of late. He still doesn't strike me as like the most imposing center of all time. So plus, it was at Ohio State, and they knew they needed to win. But I think Ohio State's team in general is just not built this year for the conference. They still have a solid team. They should be doing better than this. But I think that a lot of these results are not going their way because their team's not built right for the league, and Chris Holtmann hasn't found a way to win with what he has. Mm-hmm. But a really good win for Illinois. They had a bad loss to IU on their own court, and they were able to bounce back. I would not say fire Chris Holtmann yet. I mean, obviously Ohio State basketball is not the football team. You can lose more and not get fired, but he is going to have to step it up if he wants to keep his job in the future, though.
I will say the part where that comes into play about the fire Chris Holtmann is when people look at his NCAA tournament resume. Mm-hmm. If he can replicate a 2007 or 2012 Thad Matta and take, well, I'd say more towards 2012 in this case, but take an average team and make a deep run, get to the Final Four, just get to the Final Four. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying win a national title, just get to the Final Four. If he can do that, then he will secure himself for at least 5 more years, in my opinion. His problem is he cannot get past the Sweet 16. The Sweet 16 is the deepest run he's ever made. And that's not going to cut it. I mean, Juwan Howard at Michigan, I'm hearing, is leaning towards, okay, do we keep him? Do we let him go? Why? Because he's not making – he's had like one magical run, and that's it. So Holtmann, in order to stay there, needs a run, and I'm repeating myself, so
I feel like
that loss to Oral Roberts really hurt him. That loss to Oral Roberts, the 2 seed versus the 15 seed, that was the year you're supposed to advance. You lose that game, and things have slightly been trending downward ever since. That was a bad loss. And I know Max Amos is a fantastic guard, and then they had that other player that ended up transferring to Texas, Kevin O'Banner, on that team. I mean, they were really good, but still Ohio State should have won.
I feel like for the Illini, on the other hand, this is the, oh crap, we need to win to make the NCAA tournament type game for them. Like, They really needed this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just bad. Losing that team, man. Oral Roberts. Good Lord.
All right, we're ready to move on.
I'm all set.
All right, another win for Jeffrey's team.
Congratulations, Jeffrey boy.
Yeah, this game, I mean, Syracuse home court advantage clearly helped them out. The fans were on their side. Yet again, Carolina found a way to get to the line over 20 times. Cuse only had like single-digit free throws, so that helped out the Tar Heels. They're just physical, getting to the line. They're still not shooting the basketball very well, which is going to have to improve if they're going to be able to replicate last year's tournament run. But Carolina's squeaking out wins right now, and they are stepping up their level of play a little bit from where they were a couple weeks ago. Tough loss for Bayam, though.
Yeah, this is a big. I feel like now that Armando Baycott's healthy, I feel like they're really starting to get it going here and finally getting confident again to hopefully make a run in the tournament.
Yeah, I'm wondering if North Carolina's getting back up. It seems like they are. I'm getting real impressed with these last few games they've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot better than the start of the season, though.
Mm-hmm.
This team did make almost like a surprise. I don't know how it can be a surprise when it's the almighty historically amazing and historically way better than Notre Dame North Carolina program. So I don't really know how it could be a surprise, but at the same time, this team did make a surprise tournament run last year to get all the way to the national title. A little bit of that being, thanks to one of their opponents in St. Peter, Kentucky. So nothing really surprises me here. I wouldn't really call it a great win. Syracuse has usually lately been like middle of the pack average team in the ACC. Congrats on the win, North Carolina. You obviously deserve it because you're the national champion runner-up. You're supposed to slaughter everyone all the way to the national title again. So do better.
This was a good game.
Ooh, that most certainly was.
Iowa State at home is insane. I mean, like you want to talk about underrated home environments? It's Hilton. I mean that place is electric, man. Kansas State. I mean, they are a fantastic team this year, but even they couldn't get a win at Iowa State. That is just a tough place to play. And to Edward's point here, I agree. Caleb Love has not been very impressive this year. Again, that's what I'm saying. They got to shoot the ball better if they're going to go far in the tournament again. Because literally, he just heated up at the end of the season last year, and that's why they made the deep run. He's going to have to start getting going again. But yeah, Iowa State. I mean, the fact that they're winning with what they have, I'm not saying like that they don't have good players. Like that is not the case. But I mean, Gabe Kalsher at Minnesota was a decent player. He stepped up at Iowa State. The St. Bonaventure transfers have been huge, and they're playing really well. Just overall, I mean, TJ Otzelberger, his first two seasons, brought back Iowa State to the level that Steve Prom had them at the beginning of his tenure. I mean, they're rolling again. I would even argue they're better than that, than what they were then. And again, with K-State, Jerome Tang, Keontae Johnson, his story's fantastic. Marquise Noel, such a fun guy to watch for his eyes. It was a really great game. But again, the home field, the home court advantage of Iowa State, they were not going to lose this game. They were determined. but K-State gave it their best shot.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of become a K-State bandwagon a little bit because of Jerome Tang. So I was like, come on, guys, come on, guys. But man, Iowa State's home environment's one of the best in the country, man. I mean, I would love to sometime. I mean, I don't really have another reason to go to Iowa, but if I could ever go to an Iowa State home game and an Iowa home football game, man, those would be some fun environments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to you guys' point about the home environment, Iowa State is 11-0 at home. That is impressive. And they may just make it far in March Madness. I tell you what, they look like it.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, Iowa State looks like a really good team. Yes, I agree with Edward. Bandwagon, really?
Well, I just rooted for them in the Big 12. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, guess what? I hope Iowa State runs into Notre Dame. Why? They're going to smash a chair upside their head. Iowa State's playing really good. Kansas State played really good. Obviously didn't come out with the win. Why? The environment. Iowa State at home. Overall, both teams looked really good. It was a good game. Really good game. Congrats to Iowa State. I do believe I was right on that one. So, yippee.
Oh yeah, man. Bro, I'm a VCU fan this year, man. I mean, I haven't watched a Notre Dame game since Marquette, man. I gave up on them that day.
Can't give up on your team.
Well, I mean, I know they're not going to do crap, but I've been looking at the scores.
That's the whole point of multiple teams, man. You can still watch one of the teams you like be bad and then flip the channel. Hey, man, K-State winning if you're jumping on their bandwagon.
I mean, I have the team of my religion, Notre Dame, and the team that school that actually go to. This was a good game too. I thought it might be a blowout, but you kind of at least hung in there. But man, they're falling apart.
Yeah, this game, I mean, UConn, it was like they needed this game to regain, I wouldn't say national relevancy because they haven't really lost it yet because obviously the national media, they're still talking about the Huskies, but it's going to get to the point where they're going to start losing it if they do keep losing. Obviously, the home court advantage was awesome for UConn, and they really tried to help pull them, help their players pull out the win. But Xavier is just fundamental. I mean, Sean Miller, you've taken a team that last year missed the tournament that should have made the tournament, and that's why Travis Steele got fired. And you bring in one transfer, Sully Boom from UTEP, a player that he saw at UTEP when he was at Arizona, and they played them, and he was like, man, this is a great player. He gets the Xavier head coaching job, brings them over, and suddenly that team goes from an NIT team to top team in the Big East. And obviously Villanova's down because Jay Wright's gone, but you can make an argument that even if Jay Wright was there, Xavier would still be the best team in the Big East. I mean, and I don't know if they're going to hold on to this the rest of the year. I mean, possibly Marquette or Providence or whoever could take the top spot, but Xavier's rolling right now. And UConn, they need to turn it around soon. They're really going to lose seeding in the tournament.
I mean, to your point, I think isn't Ohio State and UConn right around last time it was like projected a 10 seed, which was I think last week or something. So, I think aren't they right around the same spot?
UConn, UConn's higher than a 10 seed. They only have 6 losses, man. So they're going to be still a top 6 seed for now. Probably like a 6 seed, 5 or 6 seed. Their resume in the non-conference is going to keep them higher for now. Like if they're suddenly 16-10, then yeah, they'll be down in around the 10-11 seed. But they've done so much in the non-conference, and the fact that none of their losses in the Big East, maybe beside the St. John's, has been bad. They're still around a 5 or 6 seed for now, but they need to start winning.
They were a 5 seed.
Yeah, the win over Bama pretty much keeps them in, so to speak. But you go from number 2 in the nation to going down, and you don't know whether you're going to be in the top 25 or not. Looks like you're going to get kicked out of top 25 precinct, UConn. You lost 6 out of the last 8 games. Holy cow, that's just I don't know what's going on, but something's got to get fixed, UConn.
I mean, the only thing I see that would help Notre Dame, which it won't help them because they're not going to do it. Ohio State, highly doubt they'll do it. They'll probably end up in the NIT and end up NIT champions. And UConn would be, and I don't see UConn doing it either, would be to win the conference tournaments. I mean, that's basically with the performances that we're getting now, it's kind of like that's where we're headed is, okay, win enough games, make a conference tournament, make a Cinderella run in the conference, win the conference, just to have a better seed placing in the big dance than you would if you didn't win the conference tournament.
All right, on to the next game. This was a game.
Yes.
Ooh, Archie.
The Archie Miller Bowl. Okay. Archie Miller, no one thought, not even, I almost picked him, and it was more of just like a joke pick than actually thinking they were going to win. But I almost picked Archie Miller. But I was like, nah, there's no way he's beating Dayton. Dayton's way better. They have players that could potentially go to the draft. And then Rhode Island, I mean, they just got floored by George Mason. Well, they didn't really get floored, but they were down big in that game. And they kind of made it interesting. And they've been getting blown out all season. They've been playing horrible. And then out of nowhere, Archie Miller beats his former team 75-70. I mean, this is a big win for Archie Miller. Fans at Rhode Island probably already like, was this the right hire? Now you're bringing in a little bit of life to Rhodey. I mean, obviously you're not going to be able to make the tournament or anything because you're 7-13, and this is the A-10, not the Big Tens. But maybe it can get them rolling. Win some more games down the stretch, and maybe they can start playing better basketball next season. But this was a really big win for Archie Miller. And Dayton, I don't know what's going on with them. They're struggling right now.
Mm-hmm. So one of Rhode Island's players didn't transfer from the last year's team, and that was Ishmael Leggett, number 10. He had to completely build the team from almost the ground up. I mean, Leggett is their best player, but it's crazy like how much he did. How like this team's the team that they have talent-wise is probably the worst in the conference, and to even get them. I mean, obviously he planned for this game all year, but like to end up actually winning it, very impressive by Archie Miller.
I mean, because to your point, I mean, losing the Mitchell brothers was huge. I mean, like if you're able to somehow keep them, and a couple of the other players, there's a really good shot that, they're one of the better teams in the A-10 this year in Archie's first year because of the fact the A-10 is down this season. But he lost them all except the one player, Leggett, like you said. And I mean, I think that he could turn Rhode Island around if he can get some better players in there. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, Dayton, I tell you what, though, they are definitely stifling themselves out of March Madness with losses like that.
Well, I will say that, the VCU win doesn't look so good anymore.
We broke them. We broke the Flyers.
They just haven't been good all year. But you need Dayton to keep winning. Because if they don't, it makes your resume look bad. So I think I'm going to start picking against Dayton.
Rhode Island is just UNC in disguise, says Edward. Well, one team's usually winning championships and going Elite Eights, and the other team struggles to make the tournament. So that might be the only difference. But the same colors, though. Close.
But oh boy, the whole thing is about one person. Yippee!
All right, we're ready to move on.
We're all set.
This was a shocker.
Oh man, that was a big one. You know, Auburn's 29 home game winning streak ended thanks to Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M may be playing themselves into a bid for March Madness with this win. And I'll say this, guess who now has the nation's longest active home game winning streak? UCLA, and it's at 19 games dating back to January 15th, 2022.
I mean, this game, you look at Auburn, you felt they'd win because they have the home winning streak. Bruce Pearl has the Tigers playing better basketball because they were really struggling at the beginning of the season. I mean, they almost lost to Northwestern, which actually Northwestern's been pretty good this year. It was like a 43-42 win or something like that. They were just really struggling, but they entered SEC play. They started playing better, but I would say this is a bad loss. And on paper it is because you should have won this game. But Texas A&M has been playing pretty well. I mean, they only have the loss to Kentucky on the road in the SEC. And yes, Kentucky is not playing as well as they usually do, but they're coming around. So, I think if Texas A&M can avoid a big losing streak like they suffered last season, because that was the key. Texas A&M started out fast out of the gate last year for Buzz Williams, and then they hit a big wall in the SEC. They lost like 7 in a row, and then they came back around and almost made the tournament, probably should have made the tournament. I mean, the way that they advanced in the SEC tournament, they probably should have made the tournament, but you can't, as long as Texas A&M does not have a big losing streak, you can't do that. If you don't do that, then you're going to make the tournament, I think, this year. But if they suffer a big losing streak like last season, and even if they turn around late, they'll probably miss the tournament again, barely.
How about the job that Buzz Williams has done in Texas A&M?
Buzz Williams to the rescue.
I'm still shocked he left Virginia Tech.
One reason,
I know why. I mean, trust me, I get it. It's always about this. Like, I know, but
That's Texas
you had a good
money.
gig there. You had a good gig there, and then you left, and I was like, oh no, man, he's not winning anything at Texas A&M. But now he's got it going pretty well. Obviously, I know why on most coaching decisions, but I just felt, man, you should have stayed at VT a little longer.
When your football program is 5-7 and a dumpster fire in the trash, it's not that hard. The basketball team can be better than the football team. Because to me, you know what this signals? Overrated.
Yeah. Tyrese Radford, man, was on that VT team, stayed with Buzz, and man, he might be an NBA player. I mean, he had a huge game in this one. Jackson, what are your thoughts as an Auburn hater?
Well, I tell you what, though, A&M fans are pretty happy. I just wonder if they're going to let this game go to their head on Saturday against Vanderbilt at home.
Let's go, Vandy.
But Auburn,
not the worst SEC team.
Yeah, I mean, if Auburn, it's good for our resume because we beat Vandy.
So yeah, well, Auburn's most definitely going to have to rebound quickly against West Virginia, Bob Huggins.
That's actually a tough game.
But that 29 home game winning streak, gone.
I mean, considering you told me you
Inevitable.
sleep when Auburn does win, so I mean, you got to be happy about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm happy about because I mean, like Alabama and Auburn doing awesome makes the state of Alabama look good, and it shows people that we're good at something other than football. So that's what I'm happy about. So I'm glad Alabama and Auburn are both awesome in basketball, and I'm glad they've been able to keep Coach Nate Oates and Coach Bruce Pearl, and onward to Jeffrey's team, Indiana.
What do you think about this win?
Yeah, this game, there was a lot wrong with this one here. Because for one thing, Minnesota, Dawson Garcia, he did not play. And they had tons of other players like Pharrell Payne, their backup center. And they have like 2 or 3 other players that are injured. So they had 7 guys playing. And Ben Johnson, their head coach, just basically told them to give everything you got. This is your chance. You have all these injuries. Just go out there and play. They out-hustled IU in this game. I mean, literally every 50-50 ball was going their way until Miller Kopp at the end got the last 50-50 ball that they needed to win. But Minnesota got every 50-50 ball. I'm not saying Indiana didn't hustle, but if they had hustled a little bit harder, then this game would not have been as close. But the big issue for Indiana is that Mike Woodson did not coach in this game because of the fact that he was out with sickness. He's sick. And I think if he's coaching in this game, Indiana wins this game by 15, possibly 20 points. And why do I say that? Because unfortunately, Indiana assistant coach Yazir Roseman, his substitution patterns were horrible in this game because Race Thompson, who's coming off of an injury, he's trying to get back to playing basketball at a high level. I know that Race Thompson, he's from Minnesota. It's his, hometown, team. He was born like 13 miles away from where Minnesota University is, and you want to play him, but he played almost all the minutes in the second half of the game, and he was just clearly not 100%. The backup power forward for IU points in the first half, and Yazir Roseman doesn't even bring him in the second half. And he said it was a matchup issue. It doesn't matter. He was scoring at will on Minnesota. So you leave him in the game. Indiana wins this game by 15. He would have probably put up 20 because Minnesota wasn't stopping him because they kept doubling Trace. Race Thompson normally would have been on Malik Renault's level, but he's hurt. He's not 100%. I don't even know why he's playing. So that's a mistake by Roseman. Mike Woodson would not have done that. So for Indiana's sake, they need Mike Woodson back in their next game. I don't know if he's going to be back, but they need him back. If not, the substitution patterns will be awful, and they could really potentially drop their next game. But kudos to Trace Jackson Davis for basically single-handedly leading Indiana out of this horrible game. They played terrible. A lot of circumstances didn't go either team's way. The injuries for Minnesota, the coaching for IU, obviously not having Mike Woodson was really tough, but they were able to pull it out. And I know that Zach Edey is, the front runner for Big Ten Player of the Year, and he should be because you're on the best team, and he's probably going to win at the end of the day because Purdue's the best team in the Big Ten right now. But Trace Jackson Davis is playing fantastic basketball, and he's actually probably been the best player in college basketball the last 4 or 5 games. He's been elite.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the most important thing is you won. Okay, you were gonna have a bad game, and you won it. And to win in a place as cold as Minnesota, man, it's impressive. Just to win games like these
with an assistant coach. So I agree.
Yeah,
they would pull it out. Would have been a bad loss for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm impressed with what Indiana's been doing. I mean, they're I'm beginning to wonder if they could be like 2022 North Carolina, where they surprisingly make it to the Final Four. But, I mean, way too early to say that. So
I mean, I don't know, man. You don't want to crush Jeffrey's hopes and dreams of an Indiana national title.
that's what I'm trying not to do. I don't want to get his hopes too much, man.
I mean, they're
He told-
more
he told
likely
me
not
last week.
built for that, but you never know. I mean,
I,
if they get
that
healthy
ain't
and go on a run, you never know. But it's
That's not what you told me last week. You told me last week you go to night every night and pray to God, please let Indiana win a national title.
I mean, who knows, man? Who knows?
I mean, for this game overall, other than the obvious portion of the circus that we get to see for all the Indiana games, they played good, really good, and they've been keeping up the same pace, the same momentum. You know, not really making mistakes. Granted, to Jeffrey's point, you know, every Indiana game runs through Casey Jackson Davis. So if he gets hurt again, he can kiss any success goodbye. And I hope he doesn't get hurt. I'm just saying, if you're too dependent on one player, the player goes down, you're screwed.
Well,
Overall,
I mean, like the best players on the team besides Trace Jackson Davis, Xavier Johnson, who's currently not playing because he broke his foot, and he should be back in February. And Jalen Hood-Schifino, their other guard, he's really good, but he's banged up. I don't even care when anybody's, they're not talking about it, but he's not 100% either because he's like the gear that he had 2 weeks ago is not there anymore. He's scoring like 5 points, 7 points for the last few games, and he was scoring like 20 and 25 a couple weeks ago. So something's not 100% right with him. He's not 100%. They need Johnson back. Race Thompson's not healthy. So again, health's key. Like you said, if Jackson Davis goes down, it's over. They're shot. But basically, the health of the other players is going to be key because they're missing guys, and even the guys they got aren't 100%, and they need Mike Woodson back. So health overall, key for Indiana to have any success in the Big Ten and in the tournament.
That's all it takes.
Yep. This was a good game. Like, Michigan played really well without Jett Howard, but I mean, Purdue's too much.
Yeah, you feel like if he played, they win, Michigan, Jett Howard. Because, Purdue's been finding ways to win. Like, that's, the credit when you've got a player like Zach Edey that can just get you a bucket when you need it, down low. It just get it to him. He's going to score. Because you think about it. They have one loss in the Big Ten. They barely won at Michigan tonight without Jett Howard. They won at Michigan State by 1 on a Zach Edey dunk with 2 seconds. You lose those 2 games, and you're suddenly a 3-loss team in league play, and you're tied with Rutgers for the Big Ten lead right now.
And you're losing right on tiebreaker.
Yeah, and Rutgers would have the tiebreaker. Yes, so. And they barely beat Maryland as well. They won by 3 at home. So I'm not saying Purdue's not good. I'm not saying that. They are really, really good. But they're finding ways to win. That's key. But you wonder how long they're going to be able to do it. Can they continue to go through the Big Ten and pull out these wins? I'm not sure. Because to the point of Trace Jackson Davis, Indiana relies so heavily on him. Purdue does the exact same thing. They rely so heavily on Zach Edey for everything they do. And granted, I will say the guard play for Purdue, they don't turn the ball over as much as IU. They're healthier than IU right now. So, like Fletcher Loyer, Braden Smith, 2 guys in Indiana should have recruited, by the way. They didn't. That was not probably smart. They're fantastic. They're fundamental basketball players for Purdue. But when shots aren't falling, they rely only on Zach Edey. And you wonder how far that's going to take, especially come tournament time. I don't know if they can go to a championship with just Zach Edey. If they have a game where their guards can't hit a shot and Zach Edey's the only one doing anything, they're not going to make it. But if they can get consistent guard play, then Purdue could be really good. But they're finding ways to win, but it's not confident. They're not confidently winning these games. They're squeaking by. So it's going to be interesting to see how far they can go.
This is my hot take of the night. Indiana will make it farther in the tournament than Purdue. Because shooting wins you championships, not big men play. And especially when Xavier Johnson gets back. I think they're just the better team for the NCAA tournament.
I mean, people wonder why I am mad at Michigan all the time. This is really why. You want a legitimate answer? This is why. When I pick you,
they were without Juwan Howard's son, though. Again, Jet Howard, they win this game probably. He averages 50.
If you're a legit, good enough team, you find a way to win. It doesn't matter who you're down. I pick Michigan to win, and they lose. I get more angry about that than I do about anything else about Michigan. Okay, you want to talk trash about Ohio State, whatever. It's a rivalry. This crap irritates me more than anything. I have no faith in you guys, and that's why I don't like you. It's like freaking Tom Brady all over again. Pick them to win, they lose. Pick against them, they win. Screw you and screw Michigan. You guys can't play. Hope you miss the tournament, even though you most likely won't because you have enough wins to qualify. You don't deserve to be in the tournament because you never go very far unless you have a magical stance. So, whatever.
You do realize, Buck, I'm like, the two teams that made it the furthest last year in the tournament was Michigan and Purdue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you do realize that yet again, if Michigan had Jet Howard, they probably win this game, right? They're not.
You'll like
garbage.
this, Mike.
They are
You'll
not
like
garbage.
You'll like this though, Mike. Currently, they aren't in Joe Lunardi's bracket. They're not in the tournament right now, according to Joe Lunardi.
And Will is absolutely correct about that. They're 11-9, I think, and they don't have enough quality wins. Like Ohio State, I don't really understand why they're still in the bracket right now at 11-9. But I mean, their net ranking's really good. Because, I mean, that loss to Minnesota at home, like, that should automatically have you outside. But I think Ohio State still has enough quality wins somehow. And the results, the way they've lost games are close, and that matters. So I think that's why they're still barely in. But, like, Michigan, their net ranking's, like, in the 60s or 70s. It's awful. So they're nowhere near the tournament. So this was a game they really needed to win. I'm not saying their tournament hopes are done. Big Ten, you're never out unless you're Minnesota or Nebraska this year. Every team has a shot. All 12 teams have a shot right now. But Michigan needed this game, but unfortunately, without Jet Howard, they just couldn't get it done.
Mm-hmm. Jackson, what do you think?
Oh, I'm just kind of wondering if Purdue will definitely be good enough to make it to the Final Four. But, that's too early to tell, but I'm impressed with how they've been doing as number one so far. And what's up to you, Traveling Fools? How's it going, man?
And two things, to Edward's point, net ranking, I'm not completely, agreeing with it all the time either, because some teams are ridiculously overrated in the net and some teams are ridiculously underrated. Clemson should be higher than 59. And to your point, Jackson, I think Purdue could make a Final Four, but they've never been to a Final Four. So if they want to get to a Final Four, you got to earn the Final Four, and you got to have elite guard play. So if Fletcher Lawyer and Braden Smith turn into Caleb Love and RJ Davis last year in the tournament, they can make Final Four. Because it's not going to be
the last time they made the Final Four, Jeffrey, was 1980. So if they made it to the Final Four this year, it'd be the first time since 1980.
Well, okay. They haven't been in the Final Four in a long time, but they've never won past. They've never been in the championship game.
They went to the national championship 1969.
They made a championship, whatever, man. My issue,
but they never won it all.
So I mean, Purdue. I think Purdue is good enough to make it there, but they're gonna have to do something different than they normally do when they make the tournament. You just cannot rely on it alone.
So to your point, first of all, if they were going to do it, and here's why they won't do it. If they were going to do it, they would have already done it because 2019 was their best chance. All they had to do was beat the eventual national champion Virginia Cavaliers, and they were in the Final Four. That was the Elite Eight game that year. Second of all,
man, I was rooting for Purdue that year in that game.
To your point, If 1980 was the last time they made the Final Four, you're talking 42 years ago. I have a family member who's 50. So it doesn't count. Yes, it's in the record book. It doesn't count. 1969, the last time they made the championship. Now you're getting deeper and deeper where like, this team, Purdue as a whole, as a basketball program, is built for deep runs. They're just not any longer built for deep enough runs for Final Four national championship. Why? Because they never, since he left, they've never had, in my opinion, a player to the caliber of a Robbie Hummel, per se. You've got to have one. You've got to have 1 to 2 players. Shut up, Edward. You got to have 1 to 2 players that can take over the game and have a rest in peace mama mentality, and just basically have control of the game. They're spreading the wealth, which I know he doesn't really do, or did. Spread the wealth, get the assists up, spread out the points between all the players, but have a with 1 or 2 players where most of the scoring is coming from them. Because then you pull the players in to guard those 2, then you've got 2 guys open somewhere else. So transition play needs to come up for Purdue. And like I said, they have to find at least 1, preferably 2 of those guys.
Well, I mean, to Jackson's point down below, and I'm like, they've never made a Final Four. Okay, Jackson, you're the stats man, dude. Like, I know basketball fairly well, but you're the guy. You know all that, man. So kudos to you. But you get what I'm saying. Like, Buck, I'm not gonna understand. They haven't been there, and they haven't won when it actually matters ever. And they've never been there in the last 40-something years. I mean, because people are like, oh, Jeff, you're only saying it because I'm like the least crazy IU fan ever because I'm from North Carolina. And, I mean, I started watching Indiana basketball like 6 years ago. And I'm just like, well, they used to be really good and all that. Like, it's not what I am against Purdue. I'm just saying from an unbiased perspective, the way Purdue is built, they cannot make a Final Four and championship game unless X, Y, and Z is checked off the box. Last year, you had a top 4 pick in the draft. You lost to St. Peter's. Why? Because Jaden Ivey was one player. He couldn't shoot the clutch shots most of the time. He did it every now and then, but he wasn't consistent enough. It was one guy. And then you have Edey. And then the rest of the team just stands there, and it's nothing. You have to have.
That's the other thing.
Carroll, they were horrible all year, but Love and Davis get hot in the tournament, hit shots unbelievably, and Brady Manning and all those guys. And then you have Baycott, and you make it. But Purdue you don't have all that. You don't have enough talent most years, and I know talent's ridiculous. Well, Chicago made the Final Four. It's not just about that. But you have, as a team, you have to hit shots. You have to play hard. They play hard, but there's just something, the way they play, that's just not there to make a deep run. I'm saying they can make a Final Four for the first time since 1980. They can make a national championship and win it for the first time ever. First time being there since 1969, to Jackson's point. They can do it, but they're going to have a lot more things happen that they haven't done in the last 25 years to do it.
I mean, it's just, they're not consistent enough. They're consistent enough to make the tournament, but to your point, they're never consistent enough to really make a deep run. Because prior to 2019, the deepest run we saw from them was some point during the Robbie Hummel years.
I'm unbiased on everything, man.
You're hating on the Boilers, though. You're hating on the Boilers.
I don't. That's the thing. I don't. I've talked to people that talk about Purdue basketball, and I try to explain to them what is not there with the team. I like Purdue. I watch Purdue all the time. I really actually like Matt Painter's style of play. I think Matt Painter's a fantastic coach, and he's gotten so much out of players that should not even have been quality basketball players, and he's made them way better players than they should have been. I like Matt Painter a lot, and I think Purdue is a really, really solid team in the Big Ten. They find ways to win, like tonight. I like Purdue. It's just the problem is that in the tournament, it happens every year. They just can't make it. I'm probably the most unbiased sports fan that I know, and I know about 50 of them, and none of them are. I mean, I literally try to be as unbiased as possible. There's some teams I like better, but my statement on Purdue is not to make them sound bad or feel bad or anything. It's just the truth. They're gonna have to do things that they haven't done, to advance further than they have been lately.
Yeah, you're definitely more biased than I am, Jeffrey.
More unbiased?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's hope that Mike comes back, but we're going to move on. This was a game. I mean, I thought UCLA was pulling away, man. But then USC just whooshed and then stole it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed with USC's upset over UCLA, but UCLA, there's one thing that USC doesn't have that they still got: the nation's longest home game winning streak. Well, active home game winning streak. That's what UCLA has. USC doesn't. So they got bragging rights on that.
Yeah, this game, I mean, USC's been playing better lately. And yeah, UCLA, I mean, they've been on a roll. They've won 14 games in a row, but all winning streaks have to come to an end. And it makes sense to attack USC, your rival, and USC gave it everything they had. They have a solid team. I mean, they were struggling early on, but they've been coming around lately. Really, the top of the Pac-12 is coming around in general. I mean, you got Arizona and you've got LA, and then you've got USC playing better. Utah's actually playing pretty well. I mean, there's some decent, solid teams in the Pac-12 at the top, and you got a couple elite ones. But it was a really good win for the Trojans. This is definitely going to help out USC's tournament resume.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like as long as they don't lose any stupid games, they should get in now after this win because they were in the first 4 out.
Yeah, that's the key. You can't lose bad games like to California or Stanford or something like that. That would be bad.
Man, Arizona's in a dogfight with Washington State now. They're only up 4. So
yeah, they already lost to them.
They might get swept.
Good Lord. You can't be getting swept by Washington State in college basketball. Come on.
We might have to bring back
our
road
game. They lost the home game.
Yeah. We got to bring back our Washington State guy if they pull it out again.
Oh, yeah. If Arizona State loses to Washington tonight, they're going to be in big trouble for the bubble watch.
Yeah, the Arizona State needs to get the ship righted quickly.
So there we go.
Now on to the previews.
Oh, man, the SEC
Big 12 SEC
Challenge.
This is such a fun time of the year.
Yeah, I like the Big 12 SEC Challenge. I mean, the Big 10 ACC Challenge, I liked it too. It's gone now, obliterated. Because now you're going to have the ACC SEC Challenge next year with the Big 10 going over to Fox, CBS, and NBC exclusively. But you're going to get the Big 12 SEC Challenge for 1 more year as well. I mean, this game, I don't know. I mean, this is a really tough game to pick because Auburn had been playing really good basketball lately. Bruce Pearl, they've turned it around from the beginning of the season when they're really struggling. But you look at Auburn right now, and you just lose to Texas A&M at home. So it could go one or two ways. You could either turn this around and get a big win over West Virginia on the road, or you could lose another one. You could turn one loss into two, and that's the tough thing. I mean, what is Bruce Pearl going to get out of this team? Is he going to be able to turn it around, or are they going to turn one loss into two? It's like I said, I think it go either way. West Virginia is a great home environment. So Bob Huggins, even though West Virginia hasn't been good since Deuce McBride's season, they've been playing pretty well. Just in a really tough conference. They were in another conference, they'd have a better record. But I'm going to ride the home court advantage. I'll take West Virginia and Country Road 72-68 over Auburn.
Country roads take me home. I belong, West Virginia, with the sister that I just married. Take me home.
Great lyric.
Yeah, I think this is where the Big 12 flexes its muscle and wins 82-78 over Auburn. I'll go with the upset.
Gonna go West Virginia.
How can you win by 4 and flex your muscle?
Well, because West Virginia is at the bottom of the Big 12 and Auburn's at the top of the SEC.
I think Auburn's going to bounce back on the road. It's going to be a 68-64 victory.
Yeah, I'm not the one that's saying that.
Oh my gosh, man.
What?
Uncle married his sister. Yeah, how's it feel to be an Uncle Daddy?
Come on. Who's your picks, guys? Who's your picks?
I picked Auburn 68-64.
I try to learn something more educational than that, Edward.
Yeah. Will, you went with West Virginia with the Country Roads.
There you got Buckeye Mike.
Man, I'm taking a trip down them country roads. I'm going West Virginia 82-62. That's flexing a muscle.
Wow, all right. That would be quite an upset, but it would be fun. This will be an interesting one. See if Xavier can keep it going.
This is a really tough game because of the fact that I've been picking Xavier almost every time, and they've been getting the job done. I mean, they do have that loss at DePaul out of nowhere by 1. DePaul's best game of the season. Xavier didn't really defend, at the highest level in that game. But besides that one blip, Xavier's been on a roll. They've won all their games in the Big East except to DePaul. But Creighton, man, there's something about Creighton. It's just at home. They're healthy now. Ron Kalkbrenner, he's back. They're playing better. I don't know. This game really could go either way. I mean, on paper, it should be Xavier because the records are ridiculously, off. Xavier's got a way better record, but I'm gonna take a shot. I'll take Creighton to beat Xavier 80-77. I'll take Creighton.
Not so fast, my friend. I don't know, man. Xavier, they just look so good. I mean, I don't like Sean Miller at all, but I think they'll win at 85-78. I'll go Xavier to win.
Are you going at Xavier?
Yes, sir.
I'm right there with you, brother, because I'm going to go with at Xavier 67-61.
Well,
I cut out for a sec. Who'd you pick, Jackson?
At Xavier 67-61.
Okay.
Well, do I pick the Blue Jays or do I go with the leader of the X-Men? Give me the leader of the X-Men Xavier, 79-72.
Man, I can't believe I
Shut up,
almost
Xavier.
picked Xavier. I almost did, man, but the Blue Jays at home. The Blue Jays at home. We'll see. I mean, we'll see.
Like you said, they've been going on a crazy run. Xavier has.
Radical Edward,
Blue Jays
baby.
did lose to Nebraska at home, though. That was the
without Ryan Kalkbrenner.
baby.
Without Ryan Kalkbrenner. They've been on a roll lately. I could regret this pick.
Right.
You will.
We'll see. All right.
You will.
Oh
And
man!
even if I get it wrong, I don't really.
Yes, Bam will be number
fun.
1 soon.
Mm-hmm.
All for fun, man. But Alabama at Oklahoma. So this game, you use the same logic. Oklahoma's got a barely over 500 record, but it's at home. But this game's not the same, man. Alabama, I know they struggled a bit against the Bulldogs, Mississippi State this past week, but I'm taking Alabama to beat Oklahoma 85-74.
All right. Should I go for the crazy upset?
Should have done that with Creighton.
Yeah, this ain't crazy.
I wanted to sing the Boomer Sooner song, but I can't. I can't pick against Alabama. I'll go Alabama 85-58.
Ooh. Now that's flexing a muscle for the SEC.
You pick Bama?
Yeah.
Oh,
I wanted to sing the Boomer Sooner song, but they've lost their last 3 games. I can't pick them.
oh, this song you're definitely gonna be hearing. It's gonna be a Bama 75-60 win.
So, because you played that, we're not trying to copyright YouTube, so please don't.
No, we're not.
It was fair use. It was fair use.
Yeah,
Very
by the way,
easy.
that's why I sang over it. You're allowed to hum over it, you know. It's not stealing.
With that being said, this is not Oklahoma football. Actually, it might be under Brent Venables. It is. Thank you, Edward. Thank you.
I like
So-
most of the songs for most of the teams. They're not bad in small doses.
So-
If you hear it too often, it's bad. But
But I want to tear my tongue out of my mouth for saying there's no way Oklahoma's going to win. Alabama is going to win this game, and it makes me sick to my stomach to say that. I'm going to go Bama 80, Oklahoma 55.
Oh, that's flexing the muscle right there, man.
Here we go.
I don't know about that. I mean, but we'll definitely wait and see.
this one's
Absolutely
tough.
not. I can answer that. No.
This one's tough, man. I mean, Iowa State, you just got a big win over K-State at home. And Iowa State has proven to be a pretty solid road team. They almost won at Kansas. Now, most teams almost win at Kansas and then fall short. But Missouri is better this year. They're better. And Kobe Brown is an elite guard. And at home, he sometimes goes off and just plays fantastic. I'm going to take Missouri to beat Iowa State 75-67. I think they're going to get it done.
I'll go Iowa State 78-68. I mean, they're just they look so good in their past couple of games against Texas and now Kansas State. I have to go with the hot hand.
It's kind of funny how I'm like, usually I pick what everyone else picked, but this time I'm not. Could turn out badly, man. I don't know.
Who'd you go with, Jeffrey? Iowa State or Missouri?
Mizzou.
I'm going with Mizzou too. It's going to be a 72-67 victory.
Let's leave the Tigers to the cartoons for dinner. I'm gonna go with Cyclones. I'm gonna go with the Cyclones, 72-66. Get the job done. And no, I'm calling it now. Iowa State will not win the national title. If you could put a bet on a negative, I would put $1 million on Iowa State not winning the national title.
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
I'll work
I
the
think they
next
could at least be
game.
I think they'll at least be a Sweet 16 team.
Oh, for sure.
Sweet. Totally.
All right. Red Raiders in LSU.
Yeah. I was not gonna pull that one up. But someone did so. Yeah. Okay. This game, Tech and LSU. Yeah.
I can't hear Ellis who.
Well, I mean, TCU, you can't call them that, but LSU basketball's in a free fall right now. I mean, they are in a free fall. Ever since barely losing at Kentucky when Kentucky was at one of their lowest points this year, they have completely fallen off the rails. Texas Tech does not even have a Big 12 win. So both teams need this win if they want to have any shot of making the tournament. Home field advantage of LSU, but they did lose to Florida at home. I'm going to take Texas Tech to beat LSU 62-57.
Good pick, Jeffrey, my boy. I'm going to go Red Raiders 80-68.
Ooh. Let's see. Texas Tech, LSU. I think I'm going to go with a surprise. I'm going to throw out the Genjitsu and go with LSU. And man, that's going to be a 70-67 victory.
I'm going to go Tech, the Red Raiders. I'm going to go Texas Tech wins 72, LSU 61.
Okie dokie.
Oh, a future Big 12 matchup. That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
This game's a little tough to pick because of the fact, I mean, Houston, you lost to Temple at home. So anything's possible. Anything's possible. But they won at Cincinnati. I think Houston's going to start getting back on track. I think Cincinnati will put up a fight in this game, but I'll take Houston to beat Cincinnati 70-63.
Yeah, I'll think Houston will pour it on. I'll go 80-63 Cougs.
Jeffrey, you got Houston or Cincy?
Houston.
Oh, I'm going with Houston 76-67.
I think Cincinnati has what it takes to possibly expose what Houston has started to show, like they did against Temple. That being said, I don't think Cincinnati can get over the hump and win this game. I'm going to go Houston 70, Cincinnati 69.
Nice, Mike.
It might. All right. Ooh,
Can
the bubble
Illinois
watch
win the rugby match that they're about to do against Wisconsin?
This is a really tough game to pick because Wisconsin is in a free fall like LSU. Maybe not as bad yet, but it's a free fall. Illinois had a good run, got beat by IU, bounced back. So, I mean, on paper, the way these two teams are playing at this point, you would think Illinois would get this done. But it's at Wisconsin. And you've seen a lot of teams, Ohio State. A lot of us picked Iowa to beat Ohio State. Ohio State was desperate, knew they needed a win to stay in the tournament race. They got it done. Wisconsin could be in the same boat. They know they need to win if they want to make the tournament. I'm going to take Wisconsin to beat Illinois 62-56.
I think Illinois will win it 58-55. It'll be a grinder, but I think the Illini will dodge the upset.
I'm gonna go Wisconsin at home, 58-56.
So first of all, I guess I'm the only one that saw it. Can the Illini win a important bowl game?
Come on,
It's supposed to be, can the Illini win an?
Are we gonna get that grammatical here? Come on, man.
That being said, Illinois has something to play for. Wisconsin, not necessarily. That being said, Wisconsin is more like the dog grinder here. So Illinois, in my opinion, is probably going to be on their tippy toes, just trying to get by in the game. I'm going to go Wisconsin.
Back to school, show that I'm not a fool. Oh, back to school.
That's why there's the writing center that I go to get my grammatical errors figured out for papers.
At least you're utilizing everything. You're not. You haven't lost everything up here, so that's good. I'm gonna go Wisconsin 76-75 on a last-second lay-in, similar to Jordan Poole's shot the other night over Memphis.
Okie dokie. The Frogs. Now, Jackson just kind of have to change the name that he uses for TCU now. Jackson,
Yep,
can you tell him
TCU.
about that? Mm-hmm.
Hey, they showed me last Saturday. I shouldn't call them that. They saw this live stream last week. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna show one of these guys that's running their mouth a thing or two," and they did. And I'm impressed with them.
Now TCU, I mean, they're rolling. This is a trap game. You know, going on the road at a team that could potentially be desperate as well. Mississippi State, they started out the season on fire, and they've dropped off. They're still in the tournament race, but they need a big win. This could be their game to get right. This could be their game to say, hey, we're a tournament team. What you saw in November, December was not a fluke. So I think Mississippi State's going to play extremely hard and devote in this game to want to get a big win for the tournament. But with that being said, I will take TCU to beat Mississippi State 70-67.
Mm-hmm. I think that will be close at halftime.
Oh, hey, Michael
But I
Hogg, how's it going, man?
But I think TCU will pull away late. I think they'll win it 78-68.
Got TCU?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the Horned Frogs are going to show the puppy dogs who's the big dog around in Starkville. And it's going to be a 66-54 win. And how are you all doing? Who should I fire on first for picking Michigan to beat Purdue? Don't pick on me because I'm the only one that went with Purdue.
Hey, Michael, it was a great win for Purdue. Great win. But Jed Howard was out for Michigan, and Zach Edey dominated.
Oh, I'm doing great, Michael. How are you doing?
Mm-hmm. That was dumb of me. I believe in Hunter Dickinson could shut down Zach Edey. That was a bad call.
I've been riding this Hypnoturf train for a while. So TCU's a legitimate team here. That's a stupid question. Yes, they can obviously keep it going. I mean, Mississippi State's like bottom of the barrel in the SEC. Shouldn't ask them questions like that.
It's just the line. You got to put something on there, man.
I'm going to go TCU 82-42.
Ooh, you're really flexing tonight, man.
Mhm.
What's our next game? Oh, here we go. A good one. A Southwest battle between the Baylor Bear Necessities and the Arkansas Porky Pigs.
Yeah, this game is extremely tough to pick as well, like most of these games are, because of the fact Arkansas is playing better. I mean, they've had some injuries, this season. They're not getting Trevon Brazile back. Nick Smith, he's still, banged up. But, I mean, they still have a really solid team, and they're starting to play better. They've been playing a little bit better last couple games. But Baylor, you just got a big win over Kansas at home. And it is extremely hard to win in that building. I'm going to take Baylor to beat Arkansas. $74-69.
Wait, 74-60 what?
69.
Nice, Jeffrey. All right.
Man, we're really loving the number 69 tonight, I guess.
Oh, man. It's getting hot in here, so just me. All right.
It's just you. That's weird.
All right. Well, this will hopefully lighten things up. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes.
They bring the bare necessities of life. Do-do-do-do-do.
It's a great song when you're still singing it 60 years later. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I'll go for the bare necessities to win 85-68. If it was in Fayetteville, I might pick the Hogs, but I can't. Not in Waco.
yeah, I'm going to go with the Baylor Bear Necessity 67, Arkansas Porky Pigs at 55.
We can trust the basketball Baylor a little bit more than football Baylor, it seems.
What about you, Buckeye Mike? Can you trust the basketball Baylor?
Give me the Razorbacks. Give me the Razorbacks 72-71.
Oh, you like
that stemming system is not built the way it was 2 years ago when they won it all.
All right.
Pittsburgh and Miami.
This is an underrated game. Miami, I mean, still winning games. I mean, they're still winning games. They've had some slip ups, but I think overall, I still think Miami's playing pretty solid basketball. Pitt's still finding ways to win, even without John Hughley. That's a big loss. That is a big loss for the rest of the season. But they're still playing well. Jeff Capel is kept Pitt rallied even without their best player. But I'm going to take Miami to beat Pitt 69-62.
Ooh, loving that 69.
Oh my gosh, man.
Dude, I'm just picking scores, man. I won't do that one again. All right.
You're good. I'm just kidding.
So I am a Jeff Capel fan, of course. Made the tournament at VCU. So I'm definitely a Jeff Capel fan, and I think he'll find a way for Pitt to pull this one out. They're tough in the Oakland Zoo, man. They're tough. I'm going to go 82-78 over Miami, the Panthers to win.
Well, I'm going to say Miami 75, Pittsburgh 68.
I can't stand Miami at all. I don't care what they're in. Can't stand Miami. Give me Pitt 69-61.
Why do you not like Miami, Buckeye Mike?
You going with Pitt, Buckeye Mike?
Yep.
Why do you not like Miami?
Their program just sucks, and altogether, all the programs except for probably the women's basketball team sucks. And They're all stuck up a-holes or buttholes. I'll say buttholes.
Okay. I'm wondering.
All good.
Onward to the next game. Yay! Will's
A10 game of the
favorite.
week.
Not worth picking.
I don't know, man.
You gotta pick an A10 game for Will, Buckeye Mike. Gotta pick an A10 game. It was Davidson St. Louis or Richmond Dayton. And I mean, you gotta pick something that has a connection to Archie Miller. So, you know,
Oh,
you gotta
Archie.
do that. But
Okay. No, I would have gone St. Louis Davidson. This was a stupid mistake.
Doesn't matter. The point is, you got a game here on the screen. Richmond Dayton. Both teams are really struggling. Dayton just lost, to Archie Miller. A coach is trying to get things refigured out in the A10. So can Dayton get it going again? Richmond not playing as good at basketball this year. It's at Dayton. I know Dayton's lost at home, but I think they're going to bounce back. I think Dayton's going to get the win over Richmond 64-60.
Yeah, I mean, Dayton only loses to VCU at home. They haven't lost to any team besides VCU at home since the beginning of the 2021-22 season, where they had a rocky start there before they got together at the end of the season and almost made the tournament. So I'll go Dayton 72, Richmond 70. I think it'll be close because Tyler Burton, number 3, is going to be drafted in the NBA somewhere. So
gotta go with the former Bama man, Anthony Grant, and Dayton. And it's going to be a 65-61 victory over Richmond. The Richie Richmond Spiders. Buckeye Mike, your pick. Oh, you're going the home state, man. Pretty cool, man.
Give me Richmond, man. Dayton can't win when they're supposed to win, so that it can shut somebody up. So give me the Spiders.
Against Dayton every single time now. That's what he said. He said he's picking against Dayton now. Even though, to Will's point, they have not lost at home except to the best team in the A10.
Spiders 69-68. The last second 3 to win the game.
I will say, Buckeye Mike, if Richmond wins, then I might reconsider picking Dayton again.
That is if we're even going to pick another Dayton game afterwards, if that were to happen.
I don't know. We might have to pick the Arch Baron Cup, one of the better rivalries in the A10, but we'll see. Right. This is going to be a fun game.
Oh, yeah. The Rick Barnes game.
They were so good. We're actually high in the rankings, and against we just fired our coach, so we're coachless and we don't know how to run offense anymore.
This is a really tough game to pick as well. Like all these other games that I've said have been really tough to pick. Why? Because to your point, Buckeye Mike, Tennessee, I mean, they're a team that they're ranked high, but you really question if they're elite. I think they are a really solid team, but I mean that loss to Kentucky at home was disastrous. Like you got to win that game, and you don't win, which is gotten the Wildcats resurgent. But using the Archie Miller logic, he was able to get a win over his former team. So I think Rick Barnes is going to pull it out over his former team. I'm not super confident because Tennessee is well known to lose these type of games, even at home, like they did against Kentucky. They drop games like this they should win. But I will take Rick Barnes in Tennessee to beat his former team in Texas, 77-71.
Man, this is a good game. Will Tennessee choke, or will they not? That's the question. They should win this game. They're at home. They're about – maybe Texas is a little more talented, but they're the better coach team, of course, especially with Chris Beard gone. I'll go Texas 72-71.
Mm.
I'm going to go Tennessee 69-61.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go Tennessee 50-43.
Yeah, this is
You
gonna
really
be
think
one.
it's going to be like a high-scoring football game in this one? You think it's going to be a real low-scoring basketball game, man? What is that?
Oh yeah, I mean
Oh, that's what
Tennessee's still
Tennessee
struggling
won.
after the Kentucky loss and Texas not knowing how to play offense. I mean, they're not going to show up.
Mm.
Onward to the next game in the SEC Big 12 Challenge, Kansas State and Florida State. Wow.
You've got Keontae Johnson playing his former team. So it could go one of two ways. He could play at an elite level like he has been, or he could struggle against his former team. I think he's going to play well. This game's at Kansas State. The home crowd for Kansas State this year has been fantastic. They've been electric. Florida not having one of their better years. There's just Colin Castleton. He's a good player, but he just can't carry them at every game. And their other players, they have some decent players. So they're just not getting the job done. I'm going to take Kansas State to bounce back after losing to Iowa State. And I'm going to have them winning 79-67.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Kansas State 82-71. I think they'll
Kansas State 75-67.
Kansas State 85, Florida 52.
All right. The Hokies. Can they keep it going against the Cuse?
Yeah, Syracuse. I mean, that was a really tough loss to North Carolina. They needed that game for their NCAA tournament hopes. Obviously, they're not out of the tournament discussion, but Virginia Tech, they've got their mojo back. They just beat Duke. This game's at Virginia Tech. I think they're going to start going on a run like they did last year to try to get back in the tournament conversation. I'm going to go with the Hokies over Cuse, 75-67.
I'll go Hokies 78-62.
I'm going to go Virginia Tech 66, Syracuse 61. Buckeye Mike, your pick.
I'm going to go Syracuse 80-76.
Syracuse?
Yep.
It's the big one.
Oh,
Kansas
yeah.
at Kentucky.
This game, Kansas, 2 weeks ago, this is a game that you would say Kansas is going to probably win comfortably because Kentucky was really struggling and Kansas was on a roll. But now, a couple weeks later, Kansas is on a 3-game losing streak. Kentucky is on a 4-game winning streak, so the roles are reversed. This game's at Rupp, and it's going to be loud in there. The fans are going to show up to play. This is literally going to come down to, can Kentucky's guards show up and hit shots? Because if they can, to support Oscar Tshiebwe, because he's huge. He can score on anybody, frankly, down low, especially when he's engaged. He's just big. He is gonna be able to use his weight to get fouls. He's gonna be able to get dunks and scores. I don't think Kansas can stop him per se, because KJ Adams, he's just not going to be able to single-handedly do that. But if Kentucky's guards cannot make shots, they're not going to win. Kassan Wallace has to make shots. CJ Frederick has to make shots. Antonio Reeves has to make shots. If they do, they'll win. But with Kansas, it's not about stopping Tshiebwe. It's about stopping the rest of the players. And for Kansas, Grady Dick has to show up, because if it's just Jalen Wilson, they're not going to win. But if Grady Dick has a big game, and if KJ Adams can find ways to score on Oscar Tshiebwe, which will be difficult, and if DeJuan Harris and some of their other players can get things going, Kevin McCullough, they could score like they were before this 3-game skid, they'll win this game. But it is at Rupp. I don't even know, man. This game could go either way, but I'm going to take Kentucky to beat Kansas 73-72.
I'm going for more Jayhawk misery. I'm going to go Kentucky 73-68.
I'm going to go Kentucky 65-61.
Oh, this is a tough one. Kentucky started on a streak. You still fake good. You can't beat teams you're supposed to beat. You kind of got lucky with Tennessee. Kansas is in a little slump, which is normal. You're not John Calipari stacked out the butt Kentucky. So I'm going to go Kansas on this one, 63-62.
Before we move on to the next game, remember this for those that are watching this stream. If Kansas loses this Saturday to Kentucky, it will be the first time in the Bill Self era that they have lost 4 consecutive games.
Which is insane.
And it's never happened in the Bill Self era. If it does, they're really in big trouble. Oh, Jeffrey's team and Buckeye Mike's team, 7 p.m. my time and 8 p.m. everyone else's time on Fox.
Yeah, this game is unfortunate for Fox. You got your Fox primetime game. Ohio State is having a down year right now. Indiana just outside the top 25. And you're competing with the Kansas-Kentucky game on ESPN at the same time. That's tough. That is a tough time slot. No one's going to be watching this game unless you're fans of these two teams. Or if somehow Kansas-Kentucky's a blowout. But this is a tough game to pick because Mike Woodson's health is key. If Mike Woodson is not coaching in this game, Indiana, I think, will lose. Because they barely beat Minnesota.
Well, folks, it looks like Jeffrey's going to do the Jeffrey formula, which helps Indiana win. So buckle up.
But I'm serious. Like, Mike Woodson missed the Minnesota game, and they almost lose. I mean, the coaching. Yazir Roseman. It was your first head coaching job. This game. It was your first time doing it. You've been an assistant your whole career, so you're not used to it. But man, your substitution patterns. You gotta be better. If you're still coaching in this game, you have to do a better job. You cannot let a player that scored 10 points in the first half not play in the second because of matchup problems. You have to play him. Race Thompson's not healthy. You got to play Malik Renault. That's insanity. But that beside the point, if Mike Woodson's coaching this game, I think Indiana has a really good shot to win because it's at home. Assembly Hall, one of the best environments in college basketball. But I don't know about Mike Woodson's health. Ohio State needs a win to stay in the tournament hunt. Indiana's won 4 in a row. They have not won 5 Big Ten games in a row since the Tom Crean era. Maybe he'll keep the streak going. I'm going to pick Ohio State to beat Indiana 70-66, and we'll see what happens.
I'm going Hoosiers 80-67. I think they'll pull in.
Well, Jeffrey's formula is going to work because it's worked the past few times. It's going to be Indiana 67-57 over Ohio State. Buckeye Mike, your pick.
Now, will Buckeye Mike change the tune and pick against Indiana to make his Buckeyes get a huge win to be on the right side of the bubble?
No.
So, to your point, you've got this game on Fox at 8 o'clock. You have Kansas, Kentucky on ESPN. And you forgot the other one that they're fighting. You have the LA Lakers and Boston Celtics on ABC at 8:30.
Well, I'm only talking about college basketball fans. Yes, that game's gonna have millions of ratings, millions of views. Sure.
Because I told you guys that me having basic TV, I'm going to be constantly flipping back and forth between this game and the Lakers Celtics game.
Oh, you're gonna be watching the Celtics beat up on the Lakers, man. They're gonna make LeBron walk off the court. That I can guarantee.
I'm going to pretend you didn't say that.
Well, he did, so I mean, I can't unhear that one. Oh man,
because LeBron's still playing in his prime. So anyway,
his prime is
stay
forever.
on point. Stay on point. I know, right? He's been in his prime for like 10 plus years.
Oh,
anyway, Ohio State, you suck. You have not proven anything to why you deserve to be in the tournament. You don't even deserve to be in the NIT. Chris Holtman is a good enough coach. You need to get better recruiting and get better players and maybe change the system. You suck. Indiana mops with Ohio State 76-52.
Oh,
and please,
man.
let's all
I
pray
wonder-
for a speedy Mike Woodson recovery. Please. Mike Woodson, we need you back. You gotta get healthy.
Last game of the Big 12 SEC Challenge. Ole Miss and Okie State.
Yeah, this game, I mean, like of all of the Big 12 SEC Challenge games, this is probably of all of them has the least high profileness to it. I mean, Oklahoma State's at the bottom of the Big 12, roughly, not at the bottom, but toward the bottom. Ole Miss is really struggling. Kermit Davis, I mean, he needs a game like this to go his way. Kermit Davis is in big trouble. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he got fired really soon. I mean, after this game, like it's not looking good for him. So I will say that I think Ole Miss will fight. I mean, I think they're going to give the Cowboys some trouble, but I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I'm going to go with Oklahoma State to beat Ole Miss 72-60.
Yeah,
My thoughts.
I mean, I like Kermit Davis. Seems like a nice guy. Not a good enough coach in the SEC. So I'm going Pokes 78-65.
Oklahoma State 67, Ole Miss 54.
This is funny. I love how the chat is like anti-LeBron right now. This is funny. I mean, is LeBron James my favorite player? I can't say. I'm not the biggest NBA guy in the world, but like, you know, I watch it. I'm more of a college guy, but I do watch the NBA. So it's like, but I mean, I know why a lot of people don't like LeBron. A lot of reasons. I get it. It's good. A lot of stuff. I mean, I get it. But he's a good player. But I know why people don't like him. A lot of stars can be annoying. Let's just play that.
Well, I will say this before I make this pick. I was in Cleveland, about a few miles outside of downtown Cleveland, the night he made the decision.
Oh, to leave?
Oh, my Lord. I thought when I walked out of my family member's house and looked around, I thought they were going to set the entire city on fire. Whoa. That tells you the impact of the impact he's had on the game.
Well,
and here's the thing.
To be fair, if they had a burned to the ground, it wouldn't really made a difference in some parts of the city.
And here's the thing, too. He may be a baby, but most of your great or good players are babies. KD is a baby. Steph can be a baby. Klay Thompson.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of the stars are annoying. They're great players, but when you're great, every little thing can annoy you. Does it mean that that they really are annoying? Maybe not, but it's like when you're great. It literally, what did Kobe Bryant say? They hate the great ones. You know you're great if they hate you. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, if you're a fantastic player, unless you like said person because he's on the team that you root for, or you like said person because you're a person that just likes to see great players win, like you just want to see the talent itself and you don't care about all the extra stuff, then yeah, you're going to probably like LeBron because he's a great player. You're just watching one of the best players of all time. But a lot of people don't like the excess that stars give, the all the extra baggage, all the extra media press, all that stuff. So it goes both ways. They hate the great ones, Kobe Bryant.
So the difference between the two, Michael, yes, he made up for leaving for Miami by coming back and winning a title for Cleveland. Otherwise, why in the postgame would he stand there, shirt halfway on, screaming, "Cleveland, this is for you"?
What about this game?
He didn't rip the hearts out to go to the Lakers. He was a free agent when he went to the Lakers. And if that's the theory you're using, okay, if Brady leaves Tampa Bay to go somewhere else and not retire, is Brady ripping the hearts out of the Buccaneer fans for leaving after winning them the title? Did Brady rip the hearts out of the fans of the Patriots when he left as a free agent to go to Tampa Bay?
He never won a title. LeBron didn't win a title when he made the decision. He hadn't won a title yet in Cleveland. So that made the difference to the fans, even though he didn't have enough help.
Look at Edwards comment. Boston should draft his son and never allow him to play with Bronny.
Oh, see, that's the thing. He said he either wants to play with or play against Bronny. So, okay, Boston, go ahead. See you in the finals. This game.
I mean, dude, the Celtics, man, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, that man, Rondo, Pierce, that was my team. I still like the Celtics pretty well. It's like you can't stand this. I don't Lakers. I got Thomas Bryant on the Lakers, but Celtics, man. I mean, they're not that bad. I mean, both organizations can be annoying because again, they're both great. It's the same thing. No one liked the Patriots when Brady was there. Now no one cares. That's the way it is. I mean, it has to be great to be hated.
Now, this game, I'm going to go Ole Miss, 62-56.
What's your reasoning for picking Kermit Davis's team?
I didn't know I had to have a reason.
Usually we do.
I've gone all night, basically. Well, actually, the two below us have gone almost all night without having a reason. And if that's the case, then okay. If I'm going to use Will's tactic, I like the Ole Miss uniform on screen, so I'm going to go Ole Miss.
Okay. Just trying to get your expert opinion, Buckeye Mike. That's all.
And let's see. I'm guessing we have a few more, like the Sunday games, such as Iowa, Rutgers, Michigan State, Purdue.
Oh wait, but
I thought Michigan State, Purdue already played.
They're playing a second time.
Well, those weren't on the list I saw that we were going to do.
Yeah. He only had Saturday games on that list because he had all of them and then he took the Sunday ones off. I mean, we could do them real quick.
We can do them real quick.
Oh, yeah. Purdue, Michigan State at Purdue.
I mean,
Purdue.
Well,
I picked Michigan State to win at home, and they fell short due to a Zach Edey dunk. So using that logic, Purdue's going to win with a lot of Zach Edey dunks, and it's not going to take a dunk at the end to win. They're going to win by more this time. I'll take Purdue to beat Michigan State 72-63.
All right. Will, your pick.
It's Izzo at Mackey. Purdue will win.
Yeah, it's at.
Yeah.
You going Purdue?
72-71. I think it'll be a squeaker, but they'll win.
I'm going to go Purdue 72-67. Buckeye Mike, your pick.
Oh, Will, come on, man. Purdue's going to get some separation in this game. It's going to be 71-65 Boilers, man.
We got Michigan at Penn State.
Ooh.
Jeffrey, your pick on that.
Michigan, they need a win. They need a win. Like, if they want to make the tournament, they need a win. They just could not get it done without Jed Howard against Purdue. I don't know if he's going to return against Penn State, but I don't know if it's going to matter. The Bryce Jordan Center has been, crowd's been pretty good there this season. Jalen Pickett, really good guard. Penn State's playing better basketball. I'll take the Nittany Lions to beat the Wolverines, 77-70.
Your pick, Will.
I'm going Penn State. I mean, they're on the bubble too, even though like Penn State in football, they usually stink, but this year they're not terrible. They might make the tournament. And I think they'll avoid the home upset and win 68-65.
I'm going to go Michigan 64-59. Buckeye Mike, your pick.
Well, I picked Michigan last time and you let me down, so I'm not going to pick you again so you can prove me wrong. I'm going to go Penn State 77-71. Both bubble teams, both teams need a win. I think Penn State right now is just built better than Michigan, or as I should be pronouncing it, meat chicken.
Or like how I like
they
to
have a
pronounce
lot of
it.
meat chicken
I
over
like
there.
to pronounce it as meat chicken.
You've never heard it pronounced as meat chicken?
No, I said how I like to pronounce it, meat chicken. Yeah.
I just don't think Michigan has the pieces right now to even do a tournament run. Maybe next year. As far as Michigan itself, you guys, Michigan fans, you better hope and pray that Juwan Howard does not throw another punch at a coach again.
Ooh.
Oh, Rutgers at Iowa on the Big Ten Network. Jeffrey, your pick on Rutgers, Iowa.
Yeah. Iowa won at Rutgers, which was shocking. And now this game's at Iowa. Rutgers is better at home, but they lost at home to Iowa. So the teams maybe just don't match up that well. I don't know. I'll take the team that needs a win, and they beat them already. I'll take Iowa to beat Rutgers 77-71.
Will, your pick.
I'll go Rutgers to get their revenge, 81-78.
I'm going to go Rutgers 70-65. Buckeye Mike, your pick.
Iowa is too focused on not letting Rutgers win again. So they're going to be too focused on that, but still get the job done. Give me the Hawkeyes 70-69.
That's funny, man. Well, and we can make this our last game, the last Saturday one. The Immaculate St. Mary's and the Immaculate BYU Cougars.
Who's home?
I think it's BYU.
Jeffrey, your pick.
No, he was asking where the game's played.
Oh, it's at BYU.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. That makes it
That's
a little
a difference.
tricky here. It makes it a little tricky because if it was at the Gales, the Gale Force win would be getting it done. But BYU is a tough place to play, and they're not as good this year. Yes, BYU's down. They're not as good. Ooh. BYU, what's their record? They still in
Yeah,
tournament
BYU is 14-9. The Immaculate St. Mary's are 18-4, still ranked in the top 25.
14-9.
That's not good.
They're on the brink of not being in the tournament discussion at all.
Yeah, but BYU's 9-2 at home.
I don't know, man. That's tough. I don't usually do this, but I'm gonna let y'all pick first. I'll pick last. Go ahead.
All right.
I can't do it yet. I don't know.
All right, well, I'll take a chance to go with the upset. BYU 68-65.
I'm trying to find out who they lost to at home besides Gonzaga. Was it? Oh, they lost to Utah Valley. Oh, give me the Gales. 81-71.
Going a little Ave Maria. There you go.
How about you, Buck on Mike? Who you got?
Oh, this is tough. Only because of BYU's record at home. BYU's overall record does not give me a lot of confidence. St. Mary's is looking really good for the first time in a long time.
They're solid every year, but yeah, I know what you mean. They're looking really good, but they're solid.
Yeah, they're looking better than solid right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe a 4 or 5 seed in the tournament if they can keep it up.
They were a 5 seed last year, to be fair. They were a 5
I think
seed
they're playing better than Gonzaga this year.
Of course. 18-4 is better than 14-9 last time I checked. Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah, Gonzaga has 4 losses as well. I mean, they're the same.
I know. I realized my mistake. This game, I think.
Immaculate St. Mary's is a nice lady, isn't she, Radical Edward?
So for this game, give me St. Mary's 81-69.
This still doesn't help me at all. Like, I mean, I maybe would have been more inclined to take BYU if no one picked them, because I've been kind of doing that.
Well, St. Mary's is unbeaten on the road, Jeffrey. So,
but
Who took
Jackson
BYU?
picked them.
Oh dear Lord! Oh my gosh!
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I really want to pick BYU out at home, but I want to pick them. But I'm going to take St. Mary's to beat BYU 70-69.
All right. Last one. I don't know how you skipped over it.
Was it on the list?
no, it's not on the list, but
I'm picking Clemson. Give me Clemson 80-60.
Clemson 77-65.
Clemson 85, Florida State 61.
Almost Jackson. Give me Clemson 85, Florida State 69.
All right.
That's a wrap for all the picks.
Nice voice crack.
Oh, I'm starting to fall asleep here.
No worries, man. Anything we got to go for? Any final thoughts?
If you missed any, Edward, leave a comment in one of my videos. I will make a preview for the game. And, yeah.
Oh, man. Thoughts
God
on
rest the
passing
soul of
to
Billy Packer. I thought he was
Um,
annoying as crap on CBS broadcast, though. I never liked him, but God
Yeah,
rest his
it's have
soul.
anybody passes. And Edward, I mean, I might start dabbling in some basketball previews as well, because of the fact that with football over and there's no NFL, you might have to do some basketball picks. So who knows, man? You might get them from both of us.
Yep. So, I got one announcement. I don't know if it's okay to do this or not. I have a series getting ready to launch on my channel, so everybody subscribe over to the Buckeye Mike channel and check it out. It's going to be called is blank going to blank. We're taking one player. I'm the only one on the channel. I'm taking one player, aka, for example, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, and I'm filling in the other blank with all the possible teams that they're going to, and I will give you the reasons why or why not they're going to that team. For example, the Tom Brady to San Francisco is going to be a three-parter. Same with Aaron Rodgers to San Francisco. Possibility is going to be a three-parter because I'm looking at it from every angle. If Aaron comes in, what's that do for Jimmy? If Aaron comes in, what's that do for Trey? If Aaron comes in, what's that do for Brock? So I'm really excited about this, mostly because it gets out quantity, not necessarily quality, which I know you prefer quality. But if we're going to beat this formula, it's got to be quantity. So that being said, stay tuned. Hope y'all like it. Stay tuned to Young Guns. Stay tuned to Only Talk Sports because this man is a genius.
Thanks.
And yeah, so stay tuned to all of the channels. Thanks again, everyone, and we will see you on
Thanks for being here, everybody.
Sunday.
Here's the round of Jackson.